I'm here outside Downing Street to speak to Laila Soueif, the mother of British-Egyptian prisoner, writer and activist Alaa Abd el-Fattah. Alaa helped lead the 2011 uprising in Egypt that toppled then-President Hosni Mubarak and has been repeatedly imprisoned by the Egyptian authorities over his activism ever since. His family have been campaigning for years for his release. Alaa was supposed to be released on the 29th of September when he was due to complete a 5-year sentence for sharing a Facebook post. But the Egyptian authorities did not free him, refusing to count the 2 years he spent in pre-trial detention as part of his sentence. The family have been deeply disappointed with how the UK government and the previous one have handled the case. They believe that the UK, as a key ally of Egypt, has more leverage than it's prepared to use. Foreign Secretary David Lammy has assured the family that Alaa's case remains the #1 issue. But Laila has vowed not to eat until she sees concrete action from the UK government to secure her son's release. And she visits Downing Street daily to wait for news of him. She has demanded that Lammy bring Alaa back with him and reunite him with his son. Laila's hunger strike is unprecedented. There is no way of telling how much longer she has before collapsing, particularly given she is 68 years old. We met with Laila as she entered the day 117 of her strike, a day before the anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution on the 25th of January. How are you feeling? How are you getting on with your hunger strike?
I'm starting to feel very, very tired. My sugar blood count is now always in the 50s, which is, for those who don't know this, which is very low. In fact, if it gets a bit lower, I should be hospitalized. And I've started having swelling in my legs. So if I stand too long,
What are you subsisting on every day?
I take rehydration salts, water, and herbs. I don't take any calories at all. I don't take sugar, I don't take any calories.
How much longer do you think you can last, or is it difficult to say?
It's difficult to say, but even the doctors say this is uncharted waters. But my guess is at most a couple more weeks, and that's at most. Maybe not even so that much.
And what are you hearing about the British government's efforts to free Alaa?
Well, obviously, Mr. Lammy was in Cairo yesterday, but nothing came of it. I'm told by every foreign office official that Alaa is top priority, but nothing is happening. And personally, I believe that nothing can happen unless Mr Sisi gives the green light for it to happen. I believe that Mr Starmer is the person who should be persuading Mr Sisi to release Alaa. I don't think anyone else can persuade him. And I haven't heard from, I sent a letter to Mr. Starmer over a week ago asking for a meeting. I haven't even had an answer to that letter.
Yeah. And when did you last see Alaa? How is he?
I saw Alaa on the 8th of January. We had a visit. Our visits are 20 minutes behind a glass barrier with talking through an intercom so that everything is monitored. So it's really a bit difficult, but he looked okay. He's extremely worried about me, but still he was reassured to find me still on my feet. And I think because from his point of view, he's sitting there in his cell and nothing at all is happening. So I think he was reassured when we gave him as much news as we could of our campaign here and of the solidarity I've been receiving here and in Egypt. So I think he was a bit more, reassured. I hope so.
And why do you think Alaa is such a target? Why do they not release him?
Well, they don't release anyone if they can help it. I mean, I've got this friend, another university professor, who's been found innocent by the court since 2018. He hasn't been released. They don't release anyone if they can help it. And at the moment, they're extra paranoid because of Syria.
We're sort of approaching the anniversary of the 25th of January. What are your feelings about this, this date?
Well, because every 25th of January, the present government goes berserk and starts, arresting people right and left, just as a sort of precaution. So I never have time actually to analyze my feelings about the 25th of January. I just go into practical mode, asking if people are all right or if they're not all right, sharing Facebook posts about their arrests. With all that's happening around this command in the area and with what's happening in my family, I don't have time. I don't have, I just go into practical mode about everything.
And well, we're witnessing an intensifying crackdown in Egypt at the moment, possibly in the run-up to the anniversary, as you say. What is the feeling in Egyptian society at the moment, do you think?
Well, I've been out of Egypt since the 9th of January, but I've been following people on social media. I think, well, basically in Egypt, this has been the case for a bit of time, for quite some time, because of course the economic situation has been deteriorating very rapidly. So people are both very angry and very frightened. And it's, it's sort of which feeling will win out. At the moment, but people are very angry. And just before I came here, people were grumbling loudly in public places. Nobody's organizing anything, except, there are labor protests because people are going hungry. People with, not just homeless people or people without jobs. People with regular, full-time jobs are going hungry.
Yeah. And do you think there is still support for Sisi as there was in 2013?
No, he's lost all his support except the very narrow clique that is making money out of his crazy, projects like building a new capital and a new presidential palace. Outside that very narrow clique, I think even in upper middle class circles, he's losing his support.
What do you think his future is in Egypt, given what's happened in Syria?
It's difficult to tell because, in fact, the present regime has been very, very brutal. He has managed to dismantle most of civil society. It has managed to dismantle any kind of any serious organization. But people are very angry, and the economic situation is dire, and the present regime is annoying, and is doing it's almost as if it's on purpose they're doing. They're, like, you know, when they had these photographs of this huge new castle, presidential palace. It's as if you're deliberately, you know, annoying people. So I think the situation could erupt at any time, but and such an eruption would be far more violent than anything we've seen in 2011 or even 2013. But whether this would give us new leadership and a new direction, or whether it was just be an eruption of violence. You know, we have the saying in Arabic from the Samsung story, "Alaya wa ala a'da'i ya Rabb," bring everything down on my head and my enemies' heads, oh God. So, you know, it could be either, I don't know.
And who is involved in that? You've built this incredible campaign and you say Alaa is really heartened by it. Are there any notable organisations or MPs who you've got on board?
Absolutely. I've had support. You'd have to ask, because I'm very bad at remembering names. But I've had great support from a number of MPs. Really, yeah, we had this meeting in on Tuesday. There were like, I don't know, it was a room taken inside this, and the room was quite full, and these MPs were there. The initiative was from them. They were the ones who were pitching ideas about what we could do. It was their campaign. So that was really great. I mean, I came out of there feeling so heartened. And then taban, the media, and that's not to mention the support NGOs, lots, again, a number of NGOs have written to Starmer, Sisi. No, everyone has been supportive. Normal people have been supportive. A lot, everyone has been supportive. Everyone has been doing what they can. It's the governments who aren't doing what they should be doing. And in Egypt, I've had so much support in Egypt. And these are people who are running risks. I mean, my last day in Egypt, on the 7th, I had like 100 people in my house just coming to, show solidarity. And there were young students among them, elderly mothers, people who are, and those elderly mothers weren't activists, they were just elderly mothers who chose to come. And these are people who are taking risks. Because, I'm sure my home is being watched, and in Egypt anyone can get arrested. So it's been, the support has been so heartwarming.